Hi there. In today's video, we are diving into the world of local large language models, or triple LMs as I like to call them. So we are breaking the shackles of OpenAI and we are installing our own large language model. Now, I say local language model, but I'm not going to install it locally on my machine because my machine is like 12 years old and I don't even think that I have enough space for this. So we are going to be deploying this in an EC2 instance on AWS. And the language model we are going to be using today is the Falcon-40B-Instruct model. And perhaps in the end, I will try to install the 30B model. I haven't been able to do that yet, but let's see in the end. So let's get started with the installation. So I'm going to launch a new instance and I will call this instance 3xLM. And let's select an operating system. Now this is very important. You have to pick Ubuntu and you have to specifically pick the deep learning AMI GPU PyTorch 2.0.1, Ubuntu 20.04. Now you probably can make this work on other operating systems and different AMIs, but this is the only one I have been able to make it work on. So if you want to follow along, then use this one because otherwise it might not work. And you have to pick one of these instance types. And I'm going to pick the G5 type. I haven't tested the other ones. So we are going to pick G5 and I am going to pick the 2x large, which should be enough for the 7 billion model. Although I tried it only with the 4x large, but it should work because if you check here in the deploy section, they have the Amazon SageMaker here and they are using G5 2x large. So I think it's gonna work. So let's use that one. And I will just set my key pair name here and let's select the size. Now I will put like 100 gigs. I don't remember how much that 7 billion actually is. I could check here in the files. So it's actually just like 15 gigs. So I will put like 25 gigs, should be enough. But for the 40B, I think you need 100 gigs. I'll put 30, just in case. And I want to encrypt my volume because security is the #1 priority on this channel. And that's it. That's all we have to do. Then we just launch the instance. Now, I don't know why it says I have 480 gigs. I should have just 135 gig volume. I'm not sure where that 480 gigs comes from, but I believe it's a mistake in this view. So I will launch this and then pay a bunch of money afterwards for some stupid mistake. Okay, so apparently we need a little bit more space than 30 gigs. So let me go back and let's in fact put 100 gigs there, whatever. And we have launched our instance. So let's SSH into it. So let's get our IP address from here and let's add it to our SSH config. And I will add it here instead of this IP so that it will automatically use the private key that I have and the user Ubuntu. So I don't have to put those in. So now I should be able to do SSH and paste in the IP again. And I will say, yes, I want to continue. And we should be in there now. And then we have to install a bunch of dependencies. And I have gathered the dependencies here. And I will publish this script on my GitHub so you can try it out yourself. But basically, we have to do all this basic update and upgrade because this is a fresh installation. And then we have to install pip. And then we have to install all these dependencies for the Falcon. And then we maybe have to do this because the pip installation usually says that you don't have this path in the path variable. So I do this to add that in there. So I'll just copy all of these and I will make an install.sh and I will paste it in here and then I will just run this install.sh. And then we just wait for a few minutes and let's continue after that. So here's that warning I'm talking about. So we get this warning that says the script transformers CLI is installed in home Ubuntu local bin, which is not on path. consider adding this directory to path, or if you prefer to suppress this warning, use this one. So I'm not sure if we have to do it. I just add it because I have been working on this for 5 hours to make it work, and I want to do everything properly so that it actually works. And now all of our dependencies have been installed. So what we can do now is we can go to the Falcon page, and in the main page here, we have some example code. So let's scroll down here and let's copy this example code, and let's go to our server and make some file falcon.py. And let's paste this in here and save it, and then let's run it with Python falcon.py. And now the first thing it's going to do is it's going to download the model weights or whatever, the training material for this transformer, and we will get a bunch of stuff here. Now you shouldn't really get warnings in the beginning. If you do get a warning here, then you probably did something wrong. This kind of text is okay. It's still going to work. So right now we are downloading the training data. So we have 2 different files we have to download, and then after that it's going to run, hopefully. And this error is something that you will get. So it will complain that the model RW4 causal LM is not supported for text generation, and it will say which models are supported, but in fact it will work. So as you can see here, we got some output from Falcon. So this was our original prompt. Let me actually check. So up to this point, right? So if we check this here, which is on a single line, then this is what we gave as a prompt. Giraffatron is obsessed with giraffes, the most glorious animal on the face of this earth. Giraffatron believes all other animals are irrelevant when compared to the glorious majesty of the giraffe. Daniel, hello, Giraffatron. And then Giraffatron says this, and then that comes from the Falcon LLM. So it says, hi Dan, and then it continues, Dan, have you been doing anything fun today? No, I just sit around all day watching giraffes. That sounds awesome. What do they do all day? They eat, sleep, and poop. That's basically it. Dan, that's pretty much the same thing I do all day. Giraffatron, I don't think so, Dan. Giraffes have better things to do. But if you want to just watch them eat, that's alright. I guess I could be the lookout for when, and then it stops here. Because there's a limit on the length. I think it's like 200 characters or something. Or 200 tokens. Now, it sounds very weird, but the prompt was weird as well. So I guess now we could change the prompt if we wanted. So we could go to the code here, and instead of saying this Giraffatron stuff here, we would say something else. Now, I tried this already by saying, user, how do you write a hello world program in C? And then I added here, assistant, and then it should continue from this. And what I got was not C code, but Java code. So it is not very intelligent. Now, perhaps if we gave it a better pre-prompt, then it would be better. But let's see what it does now. Now, this will output some weird stuff every time, like loading checkpoint shards and stuff. I'm not sure how to get rid of them, but then finally we will get an answer, which is this. And in fact, this time it worked. So we got hello world program in C, and then we got some explanation. The main function is the entry point in a program in C, and so on. The include stdio directive is used to include the standard input-output library in your code. Okay, so we actually got a pretty good answer this time. Now, this is basically how far I've gotten with this thing, so I haven't really tested it out that much, so I'm not quite sure how you're supposed to use this in like an actual program, because first of all, this outputs all this stuff. So can I like disable output in Python? If I do, let's ask ChatGPT. How do I disable output in Python for a few lines? Okay, let's do that. So let's copy this code and let's put it here. And then let's go in the end over here and let's change back the std out to original std out. And let's in fact do this. Let's say that I'm not actually sure which function is doing the output. Does the pipeline function do the output or not? So I might move this up there. So then I could actually ask for like a prompt. So I could say that the prompt is input, and let's say Falcon says, hello, what do you want to ask? And let's add a new line, and then let's add you, and that is what we are going to ask. And then we could add that prompt in here. So the user says that. So let's remove this one, and let's add here prompt, and let's make this an F string. And then let's see what happens. Then it will say result, but I think this already includes the whole message. So let's see what will happen here. Let's do that, and let's run Python 3 falcon.py again, and hopefully we don't get any output. We get output, so that didn't work. Perhaps it's std error as well. But let's see if this actually works. What is the capital city of France? And then we are going to print out some stuff. And the capital city of France is Paris. So it works, but we get all this output, which I don't like. So let's see if we have to do like original std error is sys std error. And let's put sys std error to null file as well. And then here we are going to change it back. Sys std error is original std error. And I guess this is going to do the same thing. So we have to say again, sys std out is null file, and sys std, why do I keep writing std error is null file, and then we put it back here. So we are going to say that the sys std out is original std out, and sys std damn it, std error is original std error. Let's see if that works. I hope that there's like an actual argument that I can pass so that it doesn't output that stuff. But let's see what it does now. Okay, a little bit better, but we still get some errors. So what if we say, write a poem about a cat? And assistant, no input. What does that mean? User. Okay, very interesting. Now, we do get these errors now, which I want to suppress. Why do we get? Now, in fact, this is one of the things I struggled with. So it wants to install Xformers, but if I install Xformers, then it might not work. There's some problem with it. And as you can see, it still works. So why do I need it? I'm not sure. So let's see our code again. So we are disabling std out and std error. And then we're doing all kinds of stuff. Then we're taking the prompt, and then we are moving the std out and std error back into null file. And then we're going to do this, and then we're going to print this. So we shouldn't get any output from this, but I'm not a Python developer, so I don't know how to do this. I still get some output. std error. Okay, well, I did exactly this. I think this is the thing. External libraries and sub-processes. If your code invokes external libraries, then those can have output. So why is this so difficult? This cannot be so difficult. But let's try out some other prompt. So let's run this again, and let's set our input prompt. Now it does take quite a while to start this up. I'm not sure how you could make that faster. Now that slow part was the beginning of the code, so before we go to the actual asking of questions. So perhaps if we put this in a loop when we use the pipeline function, then this will be faster. So then we would have to have this as like a service, and then we would connect to that to ask questions. But what could I do now? Create the complete code for a bouncing ball animation in C using the raylib library. let's do that. Now again, I think that we have to have like some sort of pre-prompt for it, just like my first version of the ChatWTF chatbot. And in fact, they start to write code, but now we have the limit. So this is not C, this is C++. Pretty close, but okay. So it does write the code. Now let me change it so that I can get actually some more data out of this. So somewhere we have a limit. Here, max length 200. Let's put it to 2000. And should we in fact add some pre-prompt? So if we do pre-prompt and we add it here, pre-prompt is what? This is a conversation between a programmer using an AI assistant to write code. The AI assistant always answers with fully working code and puts the code inside a markdown code block. Before starting the code block, the assistant will always add the name of the file before the code block. Let's do that. And then let's try this again. And then I will ask again, create a bouncing ball animation in the C programming language using the Raylib library. All right, and here is our result. So what did we get? Okay, so markdown code blocks are apparently HTML code blocks, okay. And while true, do this. Okay. This is not the code that I wanted. So by no means is this anything close to ChatGPT. But of course, we are using the 7B model, not the 30B model. So let's try to install the 30B model and test it out. So I will exit from here and I will copy my code from there so that I can post it on my GitHub if you want to use that code. So I will copy from home, Ubuntu, and Falcon.py. Okay, so now I have saved that. So now I can destroy this instance. So I will terminate this instance. I do not want it anymore because it is costing me $2 per hour. And let us create another one that will cost $7 per hour. So let's call this Falcon-40B. And again, we are going to pick Ubuntu and we are going to pick the PyTorch 2.0.1. And let's now pick something that can actually handle the 40B model. What do you want? 30B, 40B. It's 40B, not 30B. 40B. So I believe that we have to select G5 12x large and pay $6.33 per hour. And we have 192 gigabytes of memory. So let's run this instance and try to install the 40B model. All right, we have started the instance. So let's install all the dependencies on that instance. Here we go. It is not booted yet, so we have to wait for a while. All right, now we can log in. All right, and let's run the same thing. So let's do nano install.sh and let's paste in our installation script and let's run install.sh and then let's run it and see what happens. All right, those are installed. So now let's run our Falcon program. So let's do nano falcon.py. I'll call this Falcon-40B. What is it? 40B. And then let's go to Falcon-40B. So here we have a link to Falcon-40B-Instruct. So we are specifically using the instruct, which should be more like ChatGPT. So it should be kind of more conversational, I guess. So let's go again down here and let's copy this code. Now, I haven't gotten this to work yet. I guess it's pretty much the same code. We just changed the model. But for some reason, it doesn't work. But also, I haven't been using the 12x large instance on AWS, so maybe that was the problem. So let's run this. Python 3 Falcon-40B.py. And now it will download the model weights for this, which will be about 100 gigabytes. So I am going to go for a coffee and I will see you in 10 minutes. Okay, we have now downloaded all the model data and let's hope it actually does something. Now it always gets stuck here at this path token ID, but then I guess it will do something soon. So let's see what happens. Okay, and finally it actually outputted the result. So we have a result here. So Giraffatron, hail the glory of the giraffe, Daniel. May it forever reign supreme among all animals. Daniel, wow, that's some serious dedication. What do you like to do when you're not admiring giraffes? Is there really you missing here? Nothing. I don't have time for anything else. All my free time is spent gazing at the beauty of these magnificent creatures. Daniel, I don't mean to pry, but do you have any friends? Giraffatron, friends? Why would I need friends? I have the ultimate friendship in my life with these giraffes. They are my everything. Okay, so we have successfully installed Falcon-40B. So let's try it with our code. Now I wonder if the code is actually the same. Sorry, I have to nano this thing. I think it's just the same. They just changed the model here. So does that mean that I can actually copy my old code? So if I open my code from here, I believe it is the same. And I just copy this and I go back here and let's actually nano Falcon test.py and I will paste this in here and I will change it to use the 40B model. So Falcon-40B-Instruct. Is that the name? Yes, that should be that. So let's now run Python 3 Falcon test and see if we can actually get the input, and then let's ask it to create a bouncing ball animation in C. Okay, and we got our question. So let's say create a bouncing ball animation in the C programming language using the Raylib library. And let's see what it comes up with. Now it's taking a very long time, and I in fact might not have waited long enough before when I was testing. So it's been like a minute now and it's still generating the answer. So it is not really usable. I don't know what kind of machine you would have to actually get like ChatGPT like responses from this. And I wonder what OpenAI uses. What is their platform that they are using for ChatGPT? All right, we got a response in 2 minutes. No, 3 minutes. So now we actually have some markdown ticks here, and let's see how it starts. It starts with markdown ticks and C. We don't have the name of the file there, as I tried to say in the pre-prompt, but we have some code that actually looks kind of good, but I'm not quite sure about that. So let's in fact try to compile this thing. So let's copy now. First of all, I can see that we are loading an image called ball.png, which we don't, of course, have. So let's copy that code and let's create a new file. Okay, and let's paste this code in here. So let's create some ball.png. So I will go to photo P, and do we have some dimensions in here? Ball radius 40. So I guess that means I have to create an 80 by 80 image. It's a very large ball. Well, not really. So let's make an ellipse. Let's make it red and let's draw a ball. That is not red. This is red, and let's save this. Ball.png. And let's copy it from the downloads ball.png here. And in fact, make a directory res and move the ball to res. And then we should do gcc o ball.c and l raylib. And we got some errors, so it is not going to work. expected ending parentheses before string constant. What? What is wrong with this line of code? Ball. I don't get it. String constant. What if I remove this? Perhaps this is not the way to initialize because it doesn't say about any width and height. And actually we don't have width and height, so it's not really working as it should. So not a very good job from Falcon. Now to compare this to ChatGPT, let's create a new chat and let's say create a bouncing ball animation in C with Raylib. And here we have a bouncing ball, and that took what, 5 seconds. Copy the code and let's paste it over this one, and let's compile this, and it compiled, and let's run ball, and here we have a bouncing ball animation in C. So not a very good job from Falcon. ChatGPT is still much better. Not only was it worse in the output, it was much slower. So I'm not going to be changing to Falcon anytime soon, even though I like the idea of a local or a private LLM, because I don't really want to send all my data to OpenAI. So with this, I could have my own data in my own server and not leak it anywhere. But at the moment, it is not really feasible, especially because it's so costly. I mean, it cost me $8 or what, $6 an hour to run this server. And that's only the EC2. Then there's the EBS I have to consider. So it gets very expensive. And the OpenAI API, it's so cheap that you can use it quite a lot for $10. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of this video, and have you tried out Falcon, and what should I do with Falcon in the future? Now, I really don't know what I'm going to do with this because it's so slow right now. I have to figure out how to make it faster because it's no fun. Maybe I have to try another LLM that is local or just a different provider than OpenAI. Let me know in the comments what do you want to see and I will do it. And make sure to subscribe to my channel and click like on this video if you like this kind of content. And I will see you in the next one. And now I will terminate this instance quickly before I lose all my money.